I turned 45 on a Tuesday. Not that it mattered. Tuesdays have a way of feeling like every other day when you've been married for 20 years and the person you share a bed with has stopped seeing you as anything more than furniture. I sat at the kitchen table with a store-bought cake I'd picked up myself on the way home from work. One of those small round ones with white frosting and generic happy birthday written in blue gel. The kind you buy when you know no one else will. I stuck a single candle in the center because 45 seemed excessive and pathetic at the same time. Jessica texted me at 6:30. "So sorry, babe. Last-minute client dinner. Can't get out of it. We'll make it up to you this weekend. Love you." I read it twice, then a third time. The words didn't change. I lit the candle with a match from the junk drawer. The flame wavered in the still air of our kitchen. I could hear the refrigerator humming. Outside, someone's dog barked 3 times and stopped. I sat there watching the wax begin to melt down the side of the candle. 20 years ago, Jessica would have moved heaven and earth to be home for my birthday. She would have planned something. Dinner reservations. A card with some sentimental message that made me feel like I mattered. She would have worn that dress I liked, the green one that brought out her eyes. She would have kissed me like she meant it. Now, I got a text message and a lie. I knew it was a lie because Jessica worked in marketing for a mid-sized tech firm. Her clients were on the West Coast. She scheduled calls with them in the morning, our time. Evening meetings were rare. Evening meetings on a Tuesday in October were non-existent. I blew out the candle, made a wish anyway. Then I cut myself a slice of cake and ate it with a fork while standing at the counter. It tasted like chemicals and disappointment. My phone sat face up on the granite countertop. I picked it up and opened the tracking app I'd installed on Jessica's phone 3 weeks ago. Not my proudest moment, but desperate times and all that. The little blue dot showed her location, the Grandview Hotel, downtown. She'd been there for 40 minutes. I'd suspected for a while now. Little things that didn't add up. The new perfume, the gym membership she actually used, the way she angled her phone away from me when she texted, the late nights at the office that seemed to multiply, the distance in her eyes when she looked at me, like she was seeing through me to something better on the other side. But suspecting and knowing are 2 different animals. One you can live with, the other tears you apart from the inside. I opened our text thread and typed, "Send my regards to the man in Suite 512. I didn't know if it was Suite 512, could have been any room, but the specificity would rattle her, make her think I knew more than I did, make her panic. I hit send and set the phone down. Then I cut another slice of cake. 15 minutes later, I heard her car in the driveway. The engine cut off, car door slammed, her heels clicked rapidly on the walkway. Keys jangled. The front door burst open. Jessica rushed into the kitchen still wearing a black cocktail dress I'd never seen before. Her hair was slightly messed up, like someone had run their fingers through it. Mascara smudged under her left eye. She was breathing hard, clutching her phone in one hand and her purse in the other. She stopped when she saw me standing there with my plate of cake. "Hey," she said. Her voice came out tight and high. "I thought you'd be in bed." I took a bite of cake, chewed slowly, swallowed. "It's 8:15. Right, The dinner ended early. I thought I'd come home and we could celebrate. Your birthday. I felt terrible about missing it." I nodded. Set my plate down on the counter. "You drove home pretty fast." "What?" 15 minutes from downtown. That's impressive. Must have hit every green light." Her face went pale under her makeup. "I don't know what you're talking about." "The Grandview Hotel, downtown. That's what I'm talking about." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "How did you—" "Doesn't matter how. What matters is why. It's not what you think." I laughed. Actually laughed. The sound came out bitter and sharp. "That's your opening line? Jesus, Jessica. At least be original." I can explain. Then explain. Explain why you're wearing a dress I've never seen. Explain the smeared makeup. Explain why you lied about a client dinner. Explain Suite 512. She flinched at the room number. Her knuckles went white around her phone. There's someone else, I said. Not a question. A statement. She didn't answer. But her silence said everything. I picked up my plate and walked it to the sink. Rinsed it off. Put it in the dishwasher. My hands were steady. That surprised me. I felt like I should be shaking, throwing things, screaming. But instead, I just felt cold, hollow. How long? I asked without turning around. It doesn't matter. How long, Jessica? 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. I'd been living in a house with a stranger for 6 months and didn't even know it. Or maybe I did know it. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. I turned around and leaned against the counter. Looked at her, really looked at her. She was beautiful, still beautiful. Maybe more beautiful than when we got married. She took care of herself. Yoga 3 times a week, personal trainer on Saturdays, expensive skincare products that lined our bathroom counter. And I was just me. 15 pounds heavier than our wedding day. Hair starting to thin on top. Reading glasses I needed, but refused to wear. Who is he? I asked. Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. She looked down at her phone, then back up at me. His name is Chris. We work together. He's in finance. It just happened. Things don't just happen, Jessica. People make choices. You made a choice. You're never here, she said, her voice rising. You're always at work. When you are home, you're in your office or on your computer. When was the last time we actually talked? When was the last time you looked at me like you wanted me? So this is my fault. I didn't say that. You just did. She closed her eyes, took a breath. When she opened them again, there were tears. I didn't mean for this to happen. I didn't plan it. He makes me feel alive. He pays attention to me. He sees me. I see you. No, you see through me. I'm part of the furniture to you, the same as the couch or the kitchen table. Something that's just there. Maybe she was right. Maybe I had stopped seeing her, stopped trying. Marriage does that sometimes. You get comfortable, lazy. You assume the other person will always be there, so you stop putting in the work. But that didn't make what she did okay. I want you to leave, I said. Her eyes went wide. What? Pack a bag. Go stay with your sister, or go back to the Grandview. I don't care. But I want you out of this house tonight. You can't just throw me out. This is my house, too. You're right, it is. So let me rephrase. I'm going upstairs to our bedroom. When I come back down, you won't be here. If you are, I'm going to say things I can't take back, things that will make this worse than it already is. So do us both a favor and leave. She stood there staring at me like she couldn't believe what she was hearing, like I was the one being unreasonable. We need to talk about this, she said. No, we really don't. Not tonight. Maybe not ever, but definitely not tonight. I walked past her toward the stairs. She grabbed my arm. I stopped but didn't turn around. I'm sorry, she whispered. I pulled my arm free. So am I. I went upstairs, closed the bedroom door, sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall. I could hear her moving around downstairs. Footsteps, closet door opening and closing, the jingle of her keys, the front door, her car starting. Then silence. I lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling, the water stain in the corner that I kept meaning to fix, the ceiling fan that wobbled when it spun. My phone buzzed. A text from Jessica. I'm sorry, I know that doesn't fix anything. I'm staying at Chris's place tonight. We can talk when you're ready. Chris's place. She was going straight back to him, not to her sisters, not to a hotel, to him. I deleted the message. Then I opened the tracking app and watched the blue dot move across the map, heading east, toward the nice part of town where people like Chris lived. The part with the new condos and the trendy restaurants and the parking garages that charged $20 an hour. I watched until the dot stopped moving, memorized the address. Then I closed the app and set my phone on the nightstand. Tomorrow I'd figure out what to do. Tomorrow I'd make a plan. Tomorrow I'd decide whether this marriage was worth saving or if I should just cut my losses and move on. But tonight, I was just going to lie here in the dark and feel sorry for myself. I'd earned that much. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. I didn't sleep. Just lay there in the dark, replaying every conversation, every missed signal, every moment I should have known. Around 3 a.m, I gave up and went downstairs. The house felt different without her in it. Bigger, emptier. I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table watching the sun come up through the window over the sink. Orange and pink light spilling across the counter where I'd eaten birthday cake alone 12 hours ago. My phone rang at 7:30. Jessica's sister, Marie. "What did you do?" Marie said instead of hello. "Good morning to you too." Jessica called me at midnight crying. Said you threw her out of the house. I didn't throw her out. I asked her to leave. On your birthday. Real classy. You know what else isn't classy? Silence on the other end. Then, "She told you." She didn't have much choice. I already knew. How long have you known? Does it matter? Michael, listen to me. Jessica made a mistake. A stupid mistake. But you've been married 20 years. You don't throw that away because... She threw it away, not me. She's the one who decided our marriage wasn't worth staying faithful to. Marriage is hard, people make mistakes, you work through it. Is that what you told her when she called you crying? Did you tell her she made a mistake? Or did you tell her I was the asshole for being upset? Marie sighed. I told her she screwed up. I also told her you two need to talk, like adults, not whatever this is. This is me processing the fact that my wife has been lying to me for 6 months. Sorry if I'm not handling it on your timeline. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be angry. I'm saying don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. 6 months isn't temporary. You know what I mean. I did know what she meant, but I didn't want to hear it, not from Marie, not from anyone. I have to go, I said. Work. Michael, I hung up. Work was the last thing I wanted to deal with, but sitting in an empty house feeling sorry for myself wasn't going to help either. I showered, shaved, put on a suit, and drove to the office like it was any other Wednesday. I owned a consulting firm. Business strategy, process optimization, that sort of thing. We had 12 employees and a client list that paid the bills and then some. I'd built it from nothing over 15 years. 80-hour weeks, missed anniversaries, canceled vacations, all so Jessica and I could have the house, the cars, the life we wanted. Guess it wasn't enough. My assistant, Karen, gave me a sympathetic look when I walked in. She was 60, had been with me since the beginning, and had a sixth sense for when something was wrong. Rough night? She asked. Something like that. Coffee's fresh, and you have a call with the Peterson account at 10. Thanks. I closed myself in my office and tried to focus, answered emails, reviewed a contract, prepared notes for the Peterson call, but my mind kept drifting back to Jessica, to Chris, to Suite 512. I wanted to know everything, who he was, what he looked like, how they met, what she saw in him that she didn't see in me anymore. The questions circled like vultures. At 9:30, I opened my laptop and pulled up LinkedIn. Searched for Chris at Jessica's company. 3 results. One was 60 years old, one was a woman. The third was Chris Barrett, Director of Finance, 34 years old, graduated from Stanford, worked at Goldman Sachs before moving back to our city 2 years ago. His profile picture showed a guy with dark hair styled with too much product, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my mortgage payment. Bright white teeth, confident smile. The kind of guy who never had to work hard for anything because everything just came easy. I hated him immediately. I scrolled through his profile. Impressive resume, lots of connections, posts about market trends and investment strategies, a few photos from company events. One showed him standing next to Jessica at what looked like a holiday party. His hand was on her lower back. She was smiling up at him like he'd just said something funny. The photo was dated 6 months ago, so that's when it started. At the company Christmas party. Probably started innocent. Conversation over drinks, then maybe a dance, then phone numbers exchanged, then texts, then coffee, then lunch, then hotel rooms. I closed the laptop harder than necessary. The Peterson call went fine. I managed to sound professional and competent, despite feeling like I was falling apart. After the call, I told Karen I wasn't feeling well and left early. I didn't go home. I drove to Jessica's office instead. The building was downtown. 10 stories of glass and steel. I parked across the street in a public lot and watched the entrance. People came and went. Young professionals in business casual, older executives in expensive suits, everyone moving with purpose. I didn't know what I was looking for, didn't know what I'd do if I saw them together. But I couldn't just sit at home or pretend to work. At noon, Jessica came out. She was wearing a gray skirt and white blouse, hair pulled back, sunglasses on even though it was overcast. She walked to the corner and waited. 3 minutes later, Chris came out. He was taller than I expected. 6'2", maybe. Athletic build. He said something to Jessica, and she smiled. Not a big smile, just a small one, the kind that said she was comfortable with him. They walked together toward a restaurant 2 blocks away. I got out of my car and followed at a distance. They sat at an outdoor table. A waiter brought menus. Chris ordered wine. They talked. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see their body language, the way she leaned toward him, the way he touched her hand across the table, the way she laughed at something he said. It hurt more than I expected, seeing them together, seeing her look at him the way she used to look at me. I stood there on the sidewalk like an idiot watching my wife have lunch with her lover. A few people gave me strange looks as they passed. I didn't care. After 40 minutes, Chris paid the bill. They stood up. He kissed her. Right there on the sidewalk in front of everyone. It wasn't passionate or dramatic. Just a quick kiss. The kind couples give each other without thinking. Casual. Familiar. That was worse somehow. The casualness of it, like they'd done it 1,000 times. Jessica pulled back and said something. Checked her watch. They walked back toward her office building together. At the entrance, they separated. She went inside. He continued down the street toward the parking garage. I followed him. He drove a BMW, black, new, probably cost more than I made in 6 months. The license plate was personalized, CBRTT. I memorized it. He pulled out of the garage and headed north. I stayed 3 cars back. Followed him for 20 minutes until he pulled into the parking lot of an upscale gym. He went inside carrying a duffel bag. I sat in my car and waited. 45 minutes later, he came out. Hair wet from the shower. Changed into khakis and a polo shirt. He looked like a cologne ad. He drove to a coffee shop, went inside, came out 10 minutes later with a drink, got back in his BMW and headed east. I followed him to a condo building, modern, expensive, the kind of place with a doorman and valet parking. He pulled into the underground garage. I couldn't follow without a key card, so I parked across the street. This was where Jessica had gone last night, where she'd spent the night after I asked her to leave, in his bed, in his space. I sat there until the sun started to set. Then I drove home. The house was still empty. I ordered pizza and ate it standing at the kitchen counter, threw the box away, went upstairs, showered, put on sweatpants and a t-shirt. My phone buzzed. Jessica. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, Not yet. When? I don't know. I miss you. I almost laughed. She missed me. That was rich. I didn't respond. Another message came through. I'm sorry. I know I keep saying that. I don't know what else to say. I hate that I hurt you. I hate that I did this to us. I typed. Then why did you do it? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer. I was lonely. I was bored. I wanted to feel wanted. That's not an excuse. It's just the truth. You wanted to feel wanted, so you went and found someone else instead of talking to me. I tried talking to you. You were always working, always distracted. I felt invisible. So it's my fault. I didn't say that. You keep implying it. The 3 dots appeared again, stayed for a while, then disappeared without a message. I set my phone down and turned on the TV. Found a movie I'd seen before. Watched it without really watching. My mind was somewhere else. I thought about revenge. About what I could do to make them hurt the way I was hurting. I could confront Chris. Tell him to stay away from my wife. Threaten him. Make a scene. But that was too simple. Too expected. It wouldn't accomplish anything except making me look desperate and pathetic. No. If I was going to do this, I needed to be smart about it. Strategic. I needed to hurt them in ways they wouldn't see coming. Ways that would destroy everything they'd built together. I needed a plan. I saw Jessica one more time, 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized. She called and asked if we could meet. Said she had something she needed to give me. I agreed to meet her at the coffee shop where we'd talked before, the one on 3rd Street. She was already there when I arrived, sitting at the same table in the back. She looked different, thinner, tired, but also somehow more herself, less polished, more real. Thanks for coming, she said. I sat down across from her, didn't order anything, just waited. She pushed an envelope across the table. This is for you. What is it? Just open it. I opened the envelope. Inside was a check, made out to me, for $60,000. What's this? Half of what Chris gave me during the affair. Expensive dinners, jewelry, a weekend trip to Miami. I sold everything and this is what I got. It's yours. I don't want it. Take it anyway. It's guilt money. I don't want it and you earned it. Consider it payment for all the pain I caused. Money doesn't fix pain. I know. But it's something. And I need you to have it. Please. I looked at the check, then at her. Why did you really want to meet? She took a breath. To apologize. Really apologize. Not the bullshit apologies I gave before. I'm sorry I cheated on you. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I wasn't the wife you deserved. Okay. And to tell you that you were right. About Chris. About everything. He was using me. I was too stupid and blinded to see it, but you saw it. And you tried to protect me even when I didn't deserve it. I didn't do it to protect you. I did it to hurt him. I know, but the result was the same. You saved me from making an even bigger mistake. You already made plenty of mistakes. I did, and I'm going to have to live with that. But I wanted you to know that I see it now. I see what I threw away. And I'm sorry. We sat in silence for a moment. Chris called me, I said. Told me you never stopped loving me. He's right. I didn't. I don't. I probably never will. Then why did you file for divorce? Because I thought it's what you wanted. Because I thought we were too broken to fix. Because I was scared and confused and didn't know what else to do. And now? Now I don't know. I just know I'm sorry. And I miss you. And if there was any way to undo what I did, I would. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman I'd spent 20 years with. This woman who'd broken my heart. This woman I'd loved and hated in equal measure over the past few months. I miss you too, I said. But I don't know if that's enough. It's not. I know it's not. But maybe it's a start. Maybe. We talked for another hour. Not about the affair. Not about Chris. Just about us. About the good times. The memories. the life we'd built before everything fell apart. When we were done, we walked out together, stood in the parking lot like we had before. "What now?" she asked. "I don't know. We take it slow. See if there's anything left to save." "No promises?" "No promises." She smiled, small and sad. "Okay." She hugged me. This time I hugged her back. We stood there in the parking lot holding each other while the world moved around us. It wasn't a happy ending. It wasn't even really an ending. Just a pause. A moment of quiet before whatever came next. After a while, we let go. She got in her car. I got in mine. We drove away in opposite directions. I went home, put the check in my desk drawer, made dinner, ate alone, went to bed. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Jessica. "Coffee tomorrow?" I stared at the message for a long time, thought about everything that had happened, everything we'd lost, everything we might still have. Then I replied, "Yeah, coffee tomorrow." It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't reconciliation. It wasn't anything except a willingness to try. Maybe that was enough. Maybe it wasn't. But I was about to find out. 3 days later, my phone rang. Dennis. "You need to see this," he said. His voice was urgent. "What's going on?" I almost dropped the phone. "What?" "They found him this morning, in his apartment. Looks like suicide." "Jesus." "There's more. He left a note. It mentions you." "What does it say?" "I'll send you a photo. But Michael, this is going to bring attention, police attention. You need to be prepared." "I didn't do anything. I know that. But they're going to investigate. They're going to ask questions, and your history with him is going to come up. Let it. I have nothing to hide." Dennis sighed. "All right. Just be careful, and get a lawyer, just in case." He sent me the photo. The note was handwritten, shaky letters. It said, "I can't do this anymore. I lost everything. My job, my home, my reputation. All because I couldn't control myself. All because I hurt people who didn't deserve it. Michael was right to expose me. I deserve everything that happened. I just wish I'd been strong enough to face it. To everyone I hurt, Jessica, Monica, Ashley, Michael, I'm sorry. I hope you can all move forward. I can't." I read it 3 times, then I set my phone down. I should have felt guilty, responsible, something, but I didn't. He made his choices. I made mine. And now we both had to live with the consequences. Except he didn't have to live with them. He took the easy way out. The police called that afternoon, wanted to ask me some questions. I agreed to come to the station, brought a lawyer like Dennis suggested. They asked about my relationship with Chris, about the confrontation at the gym, about everything I'd done to expose him. I told them the truth, all of it, the affair, the investigation, the social media posts, the anonymous emails. "But you're not sorry he is." I thought about that. "No, I'm not sorry. He made his choice, just like he made every other choice that led to this." The detective wrote something down. "All right. That's all for now. We'll be in touch if we need anything else." I left, drove home, sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes. My marriage was over, and I was alone. But I'd won. That's what I'd wanted, right? To win, to make them pay, to get my revenge. And I'd gotten it. In spades. So why did it feel so hollow? Jessica called that night. She'd heard about Chris. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I'm fine." The police called me too, asked questions. "What did you tell them?" "The truth. About the affair. About everything. They're ruling it a suicide. They said there's no evidence of foul play." "Good. Is it? Is any of this good?" "I don't know anymore." We were quiet for a moment. "I'm sorry," she said. "For all of it. For setting this chain of events in motion, for—" "Stop! This wasn't your fault. Chris made his own choices. We all did." "I know, but I still feel responsible." "So do I. What do we do now?" "I don't know. We keep moving forward. What else can we do? Yeah, you're right. We said goodbye. Hung up. I sat in the dark thinking about everything that had happened. About how a birthday dinner alone had led to this. Was it worth it? The revenge? The satisfaction of watching Chris lose everything? No, it wasn't. Because in the end, I'd lost everything too. My marriage, my peace, my sense of who I was. I'd become the villain in my own story, and there was no going back. The next morning I went to Chris's funeral. Don't know why. Maybe to see it for myself, to make sure he was really gone. It was small, just a handful of people, his parents, a few friends. Monica was there. So was Ashley. They didn't look at each other, didn't acknowledge me. The service was short, generic, the kind they do when no one really knows what to say. When it was over, I walked to the grave, stood there looking at the casket. I hope you found peace, I said quietly, because I sure as hell haven't. I turned to leave and saw Jessica standing a few feet away. She'd been crying. What are you doing here? I asked. Same as you, I guess, trying to make sense of it all. We walked to the parking lot together. I think a lot of things led to that moment. We were just part of it. But if we hadn't, don't play that game, it'll drive you crazy. She nodded. You're right. We reached our cars, stood there not knowing what to say. I'm moving, she said finally. Out of state. Marie's moving to Colorado and I'm going with her. Fresh start. When? Next month. Oh. You could come with us, if you wanted, start over somewhere new. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved, this woman who'd destroyed me, this woman who still somehow held a piece of my heart. No, I said. I don't think I could. I understand. But thank you for asking. She hugged me. One last time, then got in her car and drove away. I stood there watching until she disappeared. Then I got in my car and drove home, back to my empty house, my empty life, my empty victory. I'd eaten alone on my 45th birthday while my wife claimed a last-minute client dinner. Now I ate alone every night, some revenge. 2 months later, I was working late at the office when Karen knocked on my door. There's someone here to see you, she said. Says it's important. Who? Didn't give a name, just said you'd want to talk to him. I followed her to the lobby. A man in his 60s was standing by the window. He turned when I entered. Michael, he said. Yes? I'm Robert Barrett, Chris's father. My stomach dropped. I'm sorry for your loss. Are you? I don't know what you want me to say. The truth would be a good start. He destroyed himself. I just made sure people knew about it. Robert's face hardened. He was my son. He made mistakes, but he didn't deserve what you did to him. He manipulated my wife, used her, tried to steal from me. What did you expect me to do? Just let it go? Yes, I expected you to be the bigger person, to walk away. Instead, you hunted him like an animal. He hurt me. I hurt him back. That's how the world works. No, that's how revenge works. And look where it got you. You're alone. Your marriage is over. Was it worth it? I didn't answer. That's what I thought. Robert turned to leave, then stopped. Chris left something for you. I was going to throw it away, but I think you should have it. He handed me an envelope, then walked out. I opened it. Inside was a letter. Chris's handwriting. Michael, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. I'm not going to apologize again. I've said my piece, but I wanted you to know something. You were right, about everything. I was a fraud, a manipulator, a liar, and I deserved what I got. But here's the thing you don't know. Jessica never loved me. She loved the idea of me, the escape I represented. But when I told her I loved her, she said she couldn't say it back, because she still loved you. So, congratulations. You won. Even when you thought you lost, you won. I hope that brings you some comfort, though I doubt it will. Chris. I read it twice, then folded it and put it back in the envelope. Jessica had never loved him, even in the middle of the affair. Even when she thought she wanted him, she'd still loved me, and I'd thrown it all away for revenge. I walked back to my office, closed the door, sat at my desk. Then I did something I hadn't done since this all started. I cried. 3 weeks later, everything came full circle. My 46th birthday fell on a Tuesday, just like last year. I was sitting at my kitchen table, same chair, different cake. This time it was homemade. I'd baked it myself, chocolate with vanilla frosting. Not as good as store-bought, but it meant something to make it. I stuck a candle in the center, lit it with a match, watched the flame dance. Then I heard a knock at the door. I almost didn't answer. Didn't want to deal with anyone. But curiosity got the better of me. I opened the door. Jessica stood on the porch, holding a wrapped present, looking nervous. "Hi," she said. "Hi. Can I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked past me into the house, looked around. "You redecorated." "A little. Needed a change." "It looks good." We stood there awkwardly. "I thought you moved to Colorado," I said. "I was going to. Then I decided not to." "Why?" "Because I realized something. I've been running from my problems my whole life, running from discomfort, from hard conversations, from anything that scared me. And look where it got me. I lost the only man I ever really loved." "Jessica, let me finish. Please. I'm not here to ask you to take me back. I'm not here to fix things. I'm here because it's your birthday and you shouldn't be alone. And because I wanted to give you this." She handed me the present. I unwrapped it. Inside was a photo album. Our photo album. From our wedding. But she'd added new photos too. Recent ones. Of me. Of her. Of both of us at the coffee shop. "I've been putting this together for months," she said. "A reminder of the good times, before everything went to hell. I thought you might want it." I flipped through the pages, our wedding day, vacations, holidays, all those years captured and preserved. "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome." "Do you want some cake?" She smiled. "I'd love some." We sat at the kitchen table. I cut 2 slices. We ate in silence for a while. "I'm sorry," she said finally, "for everything. I know I keep saying it, but I mean it. I know you do. Do you forgive me?" "I don't know. Maybe someday, but not today." "That's fair. But I appreciate you being here. It means something." "I'm glad." We finished our cake. She helped me clean up. Then she stood to leave. "Jessica," I said. "Wait." She turned. "Maybe we could have coffee sometime. Just coffee. Nothing more." She smiled. "I'd like that." She left. I closed the door, sat back down at the table. For the first time in a year, I didn't feel completely alone. Maybe that was enough. Maybe it was a start. The revenge had cost me everything. My marriage, my peace, a man's life. But in the ruins, I'd found something else. A chance to rebuild, not what we had before. Something new, something different, something earned through pain and loss and hard truths. I blew out the candle on my birthday cake, made a wish, and for the first time in a long time, I believed it might actually come true.